Hi everyone, Petrik here. Today's video will be my TBR for the month of April. And again, I'm trying a new feature on my camera, so please let me know whether this or the previous videos look better. I haven't posted my March wrap-up videos, but in March I managed to finish 6 books. And yes, that means that I failed once again trying to reach 8 books, and hopefully this time in April I will be able to finish 8 books. Yes, I'm planning to read 8 books again, and hopefully I can do that. And the first book that I'm going to read is The Black Tongue Thief by Christopher Buehlman. This is the first book in the Black Tongue trilogy, and I've mentioned this book several times on the channel. And yes, this book has been talked about by a lot of authors. It has been praised so highly by a lot of authors since last year. Nicholas Eames has praised it, Glenn Cook has praised it, Robin Hobb has praised it, David Douglas has praised it. So many authors have praised it, and early reviewers so far have been calling this one of the best fantasy debut of the year. This is the author's first high fantasy work, but he has released several horror books, if I'm not mistaken, before this book. And The Black Tongue Thief takes place in a world of goblin wars, text-sized battle ravens, and assassins who killed with deadly tattoos. And this is the official synopsis. Kinsna Shanak owes the Takers Guild a small fortune for his education as a thief, which includes, but is not limited to, lockpicking, knife fighting, wall scaling, fall breaking, lie weaving, trap making, plus a few small magics. His dad has driven him to lie in wait by the old forest road, planning to rob the next traveler that crosses his path. But today, Kinshna Shanak has picked the wrong mark. Galva is a knight, a survivor of the brutal goblin wars, and a handmaiden of the goddess of death. She is searching for her queen, missing since a distant northern city fell to giants. Unsuccessful to his robbery and lucky to escape with his life, Kins now finds his fate entangled with Galva's. Common enemies and uncommon dangers force Thief and Knight on an epic journey where goblins hunger for human flesh, krakens hunt in dark waters, and honor is a luxury few can afford. It sounds so good, and yes, this is one of my most anticipated release of the year, and I'm so thankful to both publishers, Tor Books and Golangs for providing me with an arc to read this one sooner. And the next book that I want to read in April is again another one of my most anticipated release. It is The Empire's Ruin by Brian Staffuli. Yes, I just got approved for this arc yesterday, and this is the next book in the Unhewn Throne series. The first trilogy is called The Chronicle of the Unhewn Throne, and this one will start the new trilogy called Ashes of the Unhewn Throne. I love Chronicle of the Unhewn Throne trilogy, but the standalone prequel to the trilogy, Skull's Throne, is one of my most favorite standalone books of all time, and I'm so looking forward to reading this one. And then the next book that I'm going to read is a debut. This one is Master of Sorrows by Justin Cole. This is the first book in the Silent Gods Quartet, and this has been in my TBR since 2019. And this one is actually signed. Ta-da! Can you see that? Yeah, this one is signed since August 2019. My co-blogger and friend DS has got the chance to actually meet Justin and get this book signed directly from him. And this is the official synopsis to Master of Sorrows. The Academy of Shenbalu has stood against magic for centuries. Hidden from the world, acting from the shadows, it trains its students to detect and retrieve magic artifacts, which it jealously guards from the misuse of others. Because magic is dangerous, something that heals can also harm, and a power that aids one person may destroy another. Of the Academy's many students, only the most skilled become avatars, warrior thieves capable of infiltrating the most heavily guarded vaults, and only the most determined are trusted to resist the lure of magic. More than anything, Anef the Bread wants to become one of them. I've been looking forward to reading Justin Cole's book for a while now, and if I'm not mistaken, this is a coming-of-age story with a magic school trope, which is always a plus for me. And yeah, hopefully I'm going to enjoy this one. And the next book that I'm going to read is the second book in the Silent God series, Master Artificer. Thank you so much to Golangs for sending me an arc of this one. I will try my best to binge read these two books. And then the next book that I'm going to read is my monthly read. It is The Burning Land, the fifth book in the Last Kingdom series. I don't think I need to say much on The Burning Land, but if I'm not mistaken, this one is the start of the third season, which is my favorite season of the TV show so far. And the previous book before The Burning Land, which I finished in March, was so good. It was so good. And judging from the quality of the third season, this should be even better. That's all I'm going to say on this. It's getting kinda impossible for me to talk about the plot now because it's the fifth book already. And then the sixth book that I'm going to read is The Crown Tower. This is the first book in the Rhyria Chronicles by Michael J. Sullivan. It's been 4 years since I've read about Royce and Hadrian. It's been 4 years since I've finished the Ryria Revelations. And not gonna lie, I've been missing these duos so much lately. And I think it's about time. It's about time for me to start reading the Chronicles. The Ryria Chronicles takes place before Ryria Revelations, and it's going to show Royce and Hadrian's first encounter in this book. And this is the synopsis to the Crown Tower. Two men who hate each other. One impossible mission. A legend in the making. Hadrian Blackwater, a warrior with nothing to fight for, is paired with Royce Melbourne, a thieving assassin with nothing to lose. Hired by an old wizard, they must steal a treasure that no one can reach. The Crown Tower is the impregnable remains of the grandest fortress ever built and home to the realm's most prized possessions. But it isn't gold or jewels that the wizard is after, and if he can just keep them from killing each other, they just might succeed. And so far there are 4 books out in the Ryria Chronicles. And I'm very excited about this one. I mean, I already love Royce and Hadrian so much from reading Ryria Revelations, and hopefully Ryria Chronicles will make me love them even more. And then the next book that I'm going to read in April is A Desolation Called Peace by Arkady Martin. This is the second book in her Teixkalan duology. And I actually didn't know that this was a duology. I almost didn't want to read this book this year because the first book was so complex, even though I really enjoyed it. But I thought I might as well wait until the final book comes out. Turns out this is the final book. I love the first book. It's quite difficult, but it felt very refreshing. It's a sci-fi and space opera series, and Martin has a very clever and intelligent use of language in her prose, and I loved it. Even though it took me about half of the book to get used to the first book, A Memory Called Empire, the second half really impressed me so much, and hopefully this one will be a stunning conclusion to the duology. And if it's possible, I also want to read one more book. It is another sci-fi and space opera. It's The Last Watch. So this is the first book in the Divide duology. I know pretty much nothing about this except that it's been highly praised so far. And this supposedly has been pitched as the Game of Thrones meets The Expanse. I know that those two are very popular pitch, but I've heard from Michael Mamey, the author behind Planet Sites. I remember that he said that this is pretty much the Night Watch from A Song of Ice and Fire in space. So yeah, that sounds good enough for me. And this is the synopsis to The Last Watch. The Expanse meets Game of Thrones in as duo's fast-paced sci-fi adventure, The Last Watch, where a handful of soldiers stand between humanity and annihilation. The Divide, it's the edge of the universe. Now it's collapsing and taking everyone and everything with it. The only ones who can stop it are the Sentinels, the recruits, exiles, and court-martial dregs of the military. At the Divide, Adequin Drake commands the Argus. She has no resources, no comms, nothing, except for the soldiers that no one wanted. Her ace in the hold could be Cavalon Mercer, genius and exiled prince who nuked his grandfather's genetic facility for reasons. She knows they're humanity's last chance. I don't know about you, but from this premise, this indeed does sound like the Night Watch in space. And both books will come out within this year, so the series will be done within this year. That's all the books that I plan to read in April. Please let me know which books on my list caught your interest, and let me know which books are on your TBR this month. That's all from me today, and again, thank you so much for everything. Also, thank you so much for 7,000 subscribers. It's incredible that this channel has reached 7,000 subscribers already. I'm truly grateful. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, thank you so much for your support. Bye bye.